Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be filming today's video because it has been 4 or 5 weeks since I filmed my last video. It might not seem that long to you guys because you guys have been seeing pre-filmed content here on my channel, but I haven't sat down and filmed a video in about 5 weeks now. So it really feels good to be sitting here and chatting with you guys. I am back in my dorm, as I'm sure some of you may be able to tell. And of course, being back in the city means that there is unfortunately going to be some background noise, some construction noise. So I'm so sorry if you guys hear that. There is literally construction absolutely everywhere right now in Manhattan, but I really hope that you guys enjoy seeing my new videos anyway. But for my first video back to filming, I figured that I would come back with a makeup review. I've been so excited to dig my fingers into this new product. It has been so popular around the beauty community and the YouTube community here. I couldn't wait to get my hands on it and test it out myself. So for today's video, I'm going to be testing out the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina eyeshadow palette. I am so excited for this palette. I think all of these colors are so up my alley. I think they are going to perform beautifully. If you guys know me, you know Anastasia shadows are some of my absolute favorite to die for eyeshadow formula. They are so smooth and creamy and pigmented, and I love this array of shades that Jackie Aina put together. I also figured today would be the perfect time to film with this palette because today is the first day of fall, and I just feel like this palette gives me all the fall vibes. Even though it's 86 degrees outside, I feel like I can kind of pull some fall vibes from this palette. My nails, you guys know what I mean. We kind of have to get fall rolling ourselves a little bit here because it still is hot out. But that's what I'm going to be doing today. If you guys have not watched one of my reviews before, I will have all of the timestamps in a pinned comment down below if you guys want to jump around. So I hope that you guys enjoy hearing more on the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina palette. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure to keep on watching. So first, getting started with some basic details about this palette. I'm absolutely sure most of you, if not all of you, know who Jackie Aina is. If you don't know, I will definitely have her channel listed down below. She's been making videos here on YouTube for 10 years now, and I just absolutely love when a big brand, especially like ABH, sees the potential and the large influence and passion that these creators have in this YouTube industry and give them a chance to really express that through a product. I will have Jackie's channel linked down below. You guys should definitely go subscribe and check her out because she makes some amazing content and she's also really funny. So even though I don't know that Jackie would ever watch this video, huge congrats to Jackie. This is such a beautiful palette. She really catered to such a large variety of different skin tones. The palette is limited edition and retails for $45, and on the inside there are 14 brand new shades, which was one of the things that I was most excited for about this palette. A lot of the times, even though Anastasia palettes are all really beautiful, we see a lot of spillover shades palette to palette. So like Modern Renaissance and Soft Glam have a lot of dupes. There are a couple of similar shades between like Sultry and Soft Glam, I believe. So there are a few duplicates of shades in some of the Anastasia palettes, and I really love that this is just brand new, all from scratch, and individual shades we haven't seen before. Of course, some of them are going to be kind of similar, like warm browns and stuff like that, but they are all different to existing Anastasia shadows, which is amazing. I really love that concept. So here's a little close-up on the packaging of the Jackie Aina palette. It is the same exact kind of carton as other Anastasia palettes, if that is focused, if you guys can see. It has these 7 shades on the top, these 7 shades on the bottom with the mirror, and it is in the same exact type of carton. I will say I do enjoy Anastasia packaging. I don't really mind that a lot of their palettes look the same. I love that they are using the same type of carton. I feel like it gives the brand a cohesiveness and a classiness. I have to say I'm not the biggest fan of the design, even though that doesn't matter. It's just the product on the inside that matters. But I'm just not the biggest fan of this, like, would you say it's like faux snake skin? I don't really love how it reflects like the different colors. To me, that's just not personally my vibe. But I do think that this is very Jackie, and I think for her creativity and the fact that it's her collaboration all about expressing herself, this totally screams Jackie Aina to me, and I totally respect her for going in that direction, because when you love something and you put your all into something, then that is what you should release. So even though I don't really love this outer carton, that really has nothing to do with the beauty that is on the inside. That leads me to my next point. I think all of these colors are absolutely beautiful. This really was one of the most beautiful palettes that I've seen in a long time, and we see so many new palette launches here in the makeup community. community. I feel like Trend Mood is like constantly posting palettes, and this is by far one of the most beautiful spread of colors that I've seen in a long time, because you have beautiful like everyday neutrals, some really fun purples and pinks, but overall I would say this palette as a whole is still really wearable and neutral despite having some fun pops of colors in there. So that is all the basic info about the ABH and Jackie Aina palette, and now we are going to get into doing a look, seeing how the shadows perform, and the actual fun part of this video. So let's jump on into that now. I just went ahead and zoomed you guys in so hopefully you could see everything a little bit better. I am so excited to dip into this palette. I've actually had this for 2 weeks now, I want to say, maybe even going on like 3 weeks, and I haven't even touched it because I wanted to share my first impression with you guys here on camera. So starting off today's look, I'm going to be dipping into the shade Ginger, which is right down here, and I'm going to be buffing that through my crease on a Sigma E38 diffused crease brush. I am going into this assuming that the formula is the same as other ABH palettes that I love. Upon first dip, it is a little bit powdery, but that really does not bother me unless it has an excessive amount of fallout. I don't really ever have issues with powderiness of a palette. So right off the bat, this Ginger shade is very pigmented. I don't think this is the correct brush for what I'm looking for. I think I'm gonna take something a little bit more fluffy to kind of diffuse it in the crease a little more, like the Alamar blending brush, and try to buff this out. So far this shade is very pigmented, definitely what I would expect of an ABH shadows. ABH shadows are so extremely pigmented, and I personally love them. I think if you are seasoned in makeup, you won't have any issues working with them. But I have said before on my channel, sometimes I do think that ABH shadows can be a little bit too pigmented for someone who is a beginner and may go in with way too much product right off the bat. I would say that this is giving me like the same exact vibes as other ABH palettes that I've said that about. This is very, very pigmented. So if you guys are a beginner, you want to go in very, very light-handed and build your way up, because you can overdo it with the pigmentation of ABH shadows. And now I'm just switching back to a little bit of a smaller crease brush just to get the two sides to match, because I feel like since I went in with that smaller brush first, I have a little bit more of the color concentrated on my right eye. You guys know me, you guys know I love my warm tones and sticking to my basic shades. So the next shade that I'm gonna go into is the shade Edges, which is a beautiful like deep burnt orange shade. And I'm going to start packing that on the outer corner. Wow, you guys, these are so pigmented. I almost feel like they might be a little bit more pigmented than other ABH shadows that I own. I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but I definitely am getting a lot of strong pigment from this palette. These shadows are blending together absolutely seamlessly, and one thing that I noticed for the kick up that I'm getting in the pan, I don't really think you guys are going to be able to see, and I kind of swept it off. I am not getting any fallout on the face. I do not see one little speck of fallout on my cheeks, because I feel like when a shadow does have more pigment, it does tend to have more fallout, and so far I did not get any fallout at all with the two shades that I just used on my eyes. Now for my lid, I'm going to take the shade Zam, which is this beautiful sparkly metallic rose gold. Oh, that is so pretty. I'm just gonna go straight in and apply this with my finger. I just think it's going to apply the best that way. That is a beautiful shade, you guys. That is definitely like a true rose gold shade. I don't even know that I have an eyeshadow like this in my collection that is that close to a real rose gold. So I just finished applying Zam from the palette, which is a beautiful rose gold lid shade. Honestly, I thought out of all of the eyeshadows that I have in my collection and all of the rose gold that I thought I have, honestly, nothing comes close to being as close to a true rose gold as this. I hope it's pulling me same on camera, but this is genuinely the most perfect rose gold shadow I have ever used. So it applied beautifully with my finger. You guys definitely don't have to spray this particular formula. It does have a little bit of fallout, but I totally did expect that with such a metallic formula. That typically does tend to happen, which I don't mind. All right, so I think that is all I'm gonna do for the top of the eyes. I know it's basic, I know it's warm tone and the technique that you guys have seen me use before, but when I'm getting to know a new palette, even though this isn't necessarily a new formula, I just like to be safe with it. I like to use colors and techniques that I like to use just to make sure I get my proper thoughts about the palette, if that makes sense. But I really love these shades. So far, everything that I used is really impressing me. Of course, we are not done yet, but I want to go ahead and finish up the rest of my face, and then I will come back to finish up the eyes using one of these more fun, bright purple or pink shades. So I'll be right back in a sec to use more shades in the Aina palette. All right, you guys, I am back. I pretty much finished up almost the rest of my face, and I feel like I'm loving this look even more that it is all cleaned up. These colors are just so up my alley, and so far this Anastasia Beverly Hills formula has not disappointed me, which I am not shocked about. But just to quickly tell you guys some of the products that I have on my face, I wanted to stick with the ABH theme. So for bronzer, I'm using my bronzer in the shade Rosewood. Surprise, surprise, I use it literally in every single video. For my highlighter, I'm using the ABH Amrezy highlighter, which is beautiful. I really wish they would make this permanent because it truly is one of my favorite highlighters. So those are the other ABH products I'm wearing on my face today. I was going to show you guys the Luminous foundation in this video because I have been really loving that, and I do have that as well, but I have been going through a little bit of a texture thing on my face, so I figured maybe today wasn't the best day to wear a Luminous foundation, but I definitely will be talking about that foundation in future videos if that is something that you guys are interested in seeing. But lastly, on my face for blush, I'm just wearing my little Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-hour blush in the shade Party. So those are most of the face details. Now I want to go ahead and zoom you guys in so we could finish up the lower lash line with the Aina palette. Just to stray away from the neutrals and kind of switch it up, I'm going to go in with the shade Pinker, which is this shade right here, if you guys can see that, on a little smudger brush. This is a E20 short shader from Sigma, and start running that under my eyes. I feel like this is going to be the perfect fall time pop of color because it's still color, it's still fun, but it has like a deep, rich quality to it. Ooh, that's a lot darker than I thought it would be. I'm actually going to take the little brush that comes with the palette and take the smaller side and just start buffing this Pinker shade out with no additional product on my brush, just to kind of diffuse the color a little bit. And I actually think I'm going to top it off with a little bit of the brightest pink in here, which is called Supreme, just to buff it out a little bit more and just to adjust the color a little bit. I really like mixing colors together on my lower lash line. So I think the last thing that I want to do for the eyes is go ahead and highlight the inner corner. And first I'm going to try going in with the shade Soleil, and if that's not bright enough, then I'm going to go in with the shade Trust Issues. But first I'm going to try Soleil right here. Oh, I think that's actually going to be perfect for this look. I don't know why I feel like Soleil would be really beautiful on the cheek, so I feel like I want to try it as a cheek highlighter. So I'm just going to take the tiniest bit and just top off my highlighter just to kind of see how it would look. I feel like it just makes the highlighter a little bit more like vibrant and warm. I love that as a highlighter. I mean, granted, I have highlighter underneath already, but I feel like I could just kind of tell from the texture that it would still highlight the face alone really beautifully. All right, you guys, so that is going to complete this look. This is the finished product with the ABH and Jackie Aina eyeshadow palette. I have to say I am really loving this palette. Despite this being my first time using it, this is just like the ABH formula that I know and love, and I absolutely know that this is going to be a go-to palette for me this fall because these colors just scream fall to me. Like I said earlier, they are the perfect mix of neutrals and warm shades and beautiful deepening pops of color, which I just absolutely love. I think that Jackie did an amazing job picking these shades. I think these shades are going to cater to deeper and darker skin tones. I know that was her main point, and I really think that she did something here with this palette. It is so beautiful. So a huge congratulations to Jackie again. I think I already said that earlier, but it is really well deserved. As far as the formula goes, I really didn't have any issues whatsoever. The matte shades were super pigmented, blended beautifully. You could still see like each individual color, which I love. I really do not like when matte shades kind of blend all into each other and they just turn into like one brown shade or one gray shade. That did not happen at all with this palette. Looking up close, I could still see ginger, I could see edges, and all of the different shades that I used in this look today. The metallic shades were beautiful. The Zam shade that I used on my lid, as well as Soleil that I used in my inner corner, both of those did not give me any issues. I definitely would say Zam is going to be like a little bit more, I don't want to say chunky, maybe of like an intense metallic formula, whereas Soleil has just a little bit more of a subtle sheen to it, but nonetheless both of them applied beautifully, as well as the two colorful shades that I tried today, Pinker and Supreme, under my lower lash line. I am loving it. Overall, I'm sure you guys can tell I am very happy with this palette. I am very impressed with the formula, and I absolutely know that this is going to be a go-to palette for me this fall. I think this is really going to be fun to mix and match with my other ABH palettes. I think it's going to complement those really nicely. Those are my thoughts. The last little thing that I want to do for you guys are just insert some arm swatches of the whole palette if you guys are curious at seeing these shades up close. So I will go ahead and insert them right now on top of me speaking. So in the top row, we have the shade Soleil, which is a metallic soft peach with a gold shift. The shade Supreme is a matte rosy pink. Pinker is a matte mid-tone cool plum. Big Wig is a matte rich purple. Douala's, am I saying that right? I feel like no one could say that properly but Jackie. I know it's a play on dollars, like Douala's. All right, I can't say it, but you guys know what I mean. That is a metallic golden olive. Credit is a deep matte plum brown. And lastly, for the top row, we have Lituation, which is a metallic deep taupe with a violet shift. Moving on down into the second row, we have Zam, which is a sparkling rose gold, which is the beautiful shade that I used on my lid today. Wiggalese is a metallic cranberry red. Shookington is a metallic violet with a blue shift. This is the next shade that I definitely want to play around with in this palette. This was one of the first ones that actually caught my eye when I first saw photos of this palette, and I think it is going to be really beautiful all over the lid, kind of smoked out, maybe like for a more fun type of look. I think I could really play around with that shade. Trust Issues is a sparkling white gold. Edges is a matte deep peach. Sponsored is a metallic chocolate with a teal shift. And lastly, we have Ginger, which is a matte caramel brown, which was the beautiful first transition shade that we applied today. So those are all these swatches in the Jackie Aina palette, and I believe that concludes everything that I wanted to touch on in today's video. Like I said 100 times already, I am very happy with this palette. I'm really looking forward to playing around with this, coming up with other looks. Definitely let me know if you guys want to see more looks with this palette here on my channel, since today we were kind of just testing the waters and kind of seeing what this palette was all about. Now that I know I really love it, I am feeling very inspired to play around and do more looks with so many of these beautiful shades. But that is everything for this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed and found it helpful. If you did, and if you want to see the Jackie Aina palette more here on my channel in the future, definitely make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel before you leave. I would love to have you guys here as part of my little YouTube fam. If you don't want to miss out on any of my future videos, click that notification bell down below and you'll get notified every single time that I upload a new video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!